yeah, I had to put that intro back on. Let me get my sound. Let me see, get that sound right for the N.y.a show as we breeze into the weekend. By this point, by the time I put this show out, we should be breezing into the weekend if we wanted to talk about Black farmers. That was the story I wanted to touch on because the Black farmers still didn't get their just due, but it just goes to show you what it takes to get the job done here in the country. So we're gonna get tap right into that story, and hopefully it's a little bit more with it, as well as the last couple stories that I did throughout the week. Of course, we talked about the dams that were put in place in Kenya. We want to follow up on that as if how effective they will be over the next couple of months, you know what I'm saying? Especially as we get out of like a rainy season into the drier season, they can see how much water they actually have that was captured during that time, as well as see how things are going to play out with the installation of those when it comes to future flooding. Like I said, Miss what's her name was Frida, with a beautiful smile across her face, seemed like she was satisfied. So Frida satisfied, we can at least lean on that. And then my other story that I talked about the riots over in the UK, and I just want to also mention like how the false information was out there so bad that the police had to give up the identity of a person that was underage, and you don't do that. You don't do stuff like that. It's probably if he was probably on the other side, they wouldn't have gave out the information like that, but because it got so bad, they had to get that information out. Just like false information can spread, this boxer in the Olympics, there was like real viral situation about this person, like they were misgendered. Their identity was completely flipped over, and it comes to find out even after, excuse me, Donald Trump spoke on this situation when it came to not being able to compete if you weren't biologically male. But I mean, yeah, if you weren't biologically female, fighting a female, but this was literally a woman. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was a woman. Like, even the stories that is showing is that let me go back. Even the story that is showing is like, yo, there was a woman after outcry fueled by gender misconceptions, and then many people did not know about who she was representing, which is Algeria, which is, as you can see, they would have never even done anything like that in the first place. Just look at what already is happening in Algeria. So that's a little clarity on that. But in the last story, misinformation they went down there and got it popping at the hotel. So if they'll go down there and get it popping at the hotel, they got them riots breaking out. Information like this can spread too, and then they get to popping it somewhere, and then all of a sudden, like, yo, that wasn't even true. It was like fake information. Like I said, even Donald Trump spoke on it, and it ended up not being information. It's like how ironic, Donald Trump, who told that term fake news, and then here he is spreading fake news because nobody really takes the time to even do some additional reading on it. And I only heard that when I was listening to Ebro on Hot 97. That's what even made me revisit the situation. I wasn't even thinking about it no more. But then I was like, oh, so that situation that was going on social media, that was two women getting it popping. It wasn't a man and a woman, as if it was made to seem on the internet all week. I heard talk about that all week. So that's just a little clarity back on that situation as we dive into what's going on with Black farmers. This man, I've seen his face all throughout Joe Biden's presidency and before he was even elected, because he wanted to put the fire to whoever's going to be in place about Black farmers not getting their just due when it comes to being able to survive as farmers in this country. So now we have Black and other minority farmers are getting $2 billion from USDA after years of discrimination. So this is farmer Johnny Boy Jr. right here. He was taking a polls. He's out of Virginia. Now the story goes by summer Valentine, the Biden administration just doled out more than $2 billion in direct payments for Black and other minority farmers. When I clicked on that link, it shows how the initial story came out a couple years ago, and the initial settlement was held up when it was just Black farmers. Key thing to remember here if we go through the story. Discriminated against by the U.S. Department of Agriculture. The president announced Wednesday more than 2,300 farmers were approved for payments ranging from 10K to 500K, according to USDA. Another 20K had been planned for people who plan to start a farm but did not receive a USDA loan between 3,500 and 6,000. Most payments went to farmers in Mississippi and Alabama. Shout out to Mississippi and Alabama because they got the most of this money that's coming out. This $2 billion. USDA Secretary Tom Sack told reporters that the aid is not compensation for anyone's loss or the pain endured, but is an acknowledgement by the department, whatever the hell that's supposed to mean. The USDA has a long history of refusing to process loans from Black farmers, approving smaller loans compared to white farmers, and in some cases foreclosing quicker than the usual when Black farmers who obtained loans ran into problems. So when we ran into problems, it was less what they say grace given, when it came to getting the money. When they compared to our white counterparts, they were given more time if they fell delinquent back on their loans. National Black Farmers Association founder and president John Boyd Jr. said the aid is helpful, but he said it's not enough. It's like putting a band-aid on something that needs open heart surgery. So that just to show y'all the intent, just to tell y'all how much the 2 billion doesn't, I guess, break it when it comes to what he actually needs and what Black farmers actually need. It's like putting a band-aid, like you said, on somebody that need open heart surgery. He said, we want our land, and I want to be very, very clear about that. So he's not playing. Boyd is still fighting a federal lawsuit for 120% debt relief for Black farmers that was approved by Congress in 2021. $5 billion for the program was included in the 1.9, what's that, trillion COVID-19 stimulus package. Everybody remember that, with the stimmies and the PPPs. But the money never came to the farmers. White farmers in several states filed lawsuits arguing that the exclusion was a violation of their constitutional rights, which prompted judges to halt the program shortly after its passing. Faced with likelihood of a lengthy court battle that would delay the payments to the farmers, Congress amended the law and officially offered financial help to a broader group of farmers. So it went from being helping just Black farmers that they had to include white farmers and other minorities into this $2 billion. Congress amended the law. All right, a new law allocated $3.1 billion to help farmers struggling with USDA-backed loans and $2.2 billion to pay farmers who the agency discriminated against. Wardell Carter, who is Black, said no one in his farming family got so much as access to the loan application since Carter's family bought his father got 85 acres of Mississippi land in 1939. He said the USDA loan officers would slam the door in his face. The Black farmers persisted. Carter said officers they would have police called to their homes. Without a loan, Carter's family would not be able to afford a tractor, and instead they used a horse and a mule for years. And without proper equipment to farm, they couldn't use all of their acres. They said the family could farm at most 40 acres of their property, and that cut into their profits, but are not able to use all the land that they can to maximize the profits. When they finally received a bank loan to buy a tractor, Carter said the interest rate was 100%. I want to look into that one. An interest rate of 100%. That's just like playing in your face. Like, wait, if you ever look at a car loan, you get a car loan and get a car note, and then you look at the actual interest rate, it says 100%. I'm sliding that paper back, or I'm sending it back to whoever it is and sending an email saying, yo, please stop playing in my face. There's no way that they got an interest rate for 100%. That was crazy. Boyd said he watched as his loan applications were torn up and thrown in the trash. Oh, nah. We face blatant, in-your-face, real discrimination, Boyd said. And I did personally. The county, the county person who was making farm loans spat tobacco juice on me during a loan session. I'm surprised he didn't beat them. At age 65, Carter said he's too old to farm his land, but when he receives the money through the USDA program, he will use it to get his property in shape so that his nephew can begin farming on it again. Carter said he and his family want to pinch in to buy his nephew a tractor too. So they got to pinch in to buy something that they will refuse, that was refused to them over and over because they weren't allowed access to get the same loan. But here we are. I wanted to mention back on the whole thing about how it went from being a get the money to Black farmers to get the money to Black farmers, plus all of these other different groups, these other minority farmers group, because they said discrimination is just give to Black people. Now that just goes to show, like, when we advocate for certain things that we want, please know that they can get done and they can get bigger banks than what we just got with these billions, which is still a shit ton of money. But you got to work together. You know what I'm saying? You have to work together, unless, of course, there was one specific group that ruled over both parties. Everybody from the House to the Senate. if it was one group that ruled over all of that, then they can push through all of the things that they want with no issue. But when we got like this mixed, we got this mixed Congress that we have in this country. There's whenever you want to say just do something for black people, they want to always say, all right, well, we got to throw in these, we got to throw in them. And a lot of times they're not even trying to get it done for you if you're not willing to let them throw in those other groups. So that's just something to keep in mind because they eventually got this money, which is putting a band-aid on someone that needs open heart surgery. So it doesn't even uh, begin to fix the problem, but it's a step in the right direction. But they're gonna have to keep pushing, and I hope that Mr. Boyd, still got it in him, even though he don't have it in him to farm no more. I hope that he has it in to continue to fight for what his family believes that they deserve. And it's the N.y.a show. Let me know what y'all thoughts on these black farmers and other farmers getting this $2 billion from Joe Biden. They finally were able to get this. And let's see if the actual money gets into their hand. But up to 500,000 from the USDA is going to be a pretty penny for those that can maximize on that on the whole 500,000. So let me know what y'all thoughts are. It's the N.y.a show. We'll get back together this weekend, and I appreciate the continued support for the show. Check out my last couple shows as we end the week, and I appreciate everybody's support. And like I said, continue to share those shows and follow me on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and share the show out. It's the N.y.a show. I appreciate y'all.